Andrew, thanks for joining us. Probably only one place to start for this latest CEO quarterly update, and that's with the men's first team unbeaten, top of the league, 5 points clear. Just how happy have you and the board been with the start to this season?
I mean, it's impossible not to be delighted with where we are. When I started doing these quarterly updates, I always said we'll do them every quarter, no matter whether we're doing well or we're not doing well. And I think it's fair to say I've had a few in recent times where we've not been doing brilliantly, and those have been difficult. But I hope I've been open and honest with everyone as to where we are and how we've been doing. So I think it would be wrong of me not to feel pleased with where we are now, not getting carried away. We're eight league games in, but if you'd said to me this is where we'd be, and obviously I'd have absolutely bitten your hand off. Obviously other results have gone our way as well, and have just set us up in a great position, and it's just been a wonderful start to the season with obviously one minor blip in the League Cup, but league-wise, we're obviously absolutely delighted with where we are, with the new players that have come in, the new man. Just everything is very positive at the moment, and long may that continue, obviously.
From your perspective, you work closely with Graham Jones and Derek McInnes, of course. Derek, a few more months under the door now. How much are you enjoying working with them?
Hugely, since day one, since I first met Derek, and I've got to know him better. He's a really great guy to work with. As you mentioned, Graham there. Graham is the one on the ground up at Oriam day in day out, and he is has the main interaction with Derek, and they've built up a fantastic relationship, and I think we're all, the three of us are different, but we all bring together our own characteristics and our own style, and I think the three of us work really well together in bringing our different attributes to the table. So no, Derek, it looks like he's been here for forever. He obviously made it clear, and has made it clear in the media, that he's been desperate to be Hearts manager for a long time, and we can now see why that was the case, and we should be delighted, and we are delighted to have him here.
As well as the team's positive position, Derek's won back-to-back Manager of the Month awards. Lawrence has won Player of the Month. Alexandros, of course, won Goal of the Month as well. Is this the most positivity you've seen around the club in your time here?
Yeah, it absolutely on pitch is the most positive, and you can't really argue against that. I was worried when Derek won his first Manager of the Month, because there's always this talk about curse of the Manager of the Month, but to go on and then win it again another month, and he's setting himself up well to potentially win it a third month in a row if we can do what we want to do this coming weekend. And it's great to see it shared between the team as well, the other members of the team who deserve it. Those of us that were here to see Kizzy's go, I don't think we'll forget it. He's tried it a couple of times since. You can see teams getting anxious as he moves onto that right side and unleashes it, and I think we'll see him do it many more times. And great for Lawrence as well to get the recognition. I thought his performance at Ibrox in particular just looked like back to Lawrence at his best, and that's great to have him in the team when he's playing like that, obviously.
You were at Rugby Park on Saturday along with nearly 4,000 other Jambos. That's certainly a support at Rugby Park that I've not seen from Hearts for some time. That's a result and a performance that will live long in the memory. Yeah,
first time I've seen that end full in my time here, and I really want to thank the fans. They were behind the team the whole game from start to finish. The first, I think Derek's talked about the first 15 minutes where we just had to bed ourselves into the game a bit, but there was no disquiet coming from that end. They were absolutely, behind the team, and thank you to them for the great support that they gave the other night, and that they've given throughout the season. I've never seen a support like we had at Livingston either. We're filling other grounds. The support here has been incredible as well. We've been on Ticket Exchange every game. So no, I can't thank the fans enough, because it's a cliche, but without the fans, the club is absolutely nothing, and football's absolutely nothing. And thought the atmosphere at the Edinburgh Derby again was fantastic, and I'm sure the atmosphere this coming Sunday against Celtic will just be ramped up to a whole different level.
We've spoken at length, of course, about Jamestown Analytics in the past. Since our last update, we've made a club record signing in Adju. Firstly, how much are you looking forward to seeing him back in action again? And secondly, are we looking at fine-tuning the squad come January, should that be required?
Yeah, listen, Adju is a really exciting prospect. I mean, we saw him for a cameo appearance at Livingston, and you know, I just thought he looked like a real Rolls Royce of a player that day. He, you know, it's been a shame that he's been a bit, you know, stop-start for him coming here with it, picking up an injury in training, but I think we're all really excited to see him get into the team. Having said that, his ability to get into the team might be difficult. We've not had a change of team for the last four fixtures, and who's to say we'll change again at the weekend? I don't know, and like everyone else, I'll find out the team an hour and 15 before, and I'll be excited to see it, but it would be difficult for him to displace anyone in the current team. But having said that, I know we are all excited to see him at some point in the near future, and I'm sure we will, and I'm sure he'll live up to that short cameo that we saw at Livingston. January, I think we shouldn't forget, we've already made a signing in Islam Chesnikov, who will come in. He can't be registered until January, can't play until January, but he will join us for training purposes at the beginning of December, which I think is great. Can allow him to get used to his surroundings, get used to Edinburgh, etc., as we go into the lovely winter months. So that's a big thing for January. I think more generally in January, we are unlikely to make, I mean, you never say never because you just don't know what's going to happen, but unlikely to make any significant number of new signings. We've got a big squad. Everyone knows we've got a big squad. We're more likely, ideally, to actually move a few players out. Maybe some players that thought they still had an opportunity over this period of time, but maybe come January decide that actually I'm not going to get a game, so I need to move elsewhere. I think we do have a very strong squad. I think we have cover in all positions. I know there's one particular position people talk about at right back, but we haven't seen Christian yet. I'm hoping we'll get to see Christian, and his injuries will be put behind him, and then people will maybe realise that we do have a very strong right back. Having said that, the guys that have played there have hardly let us down, to say the least. So I'm not concerned about any of our positions. I think one other thing just to touch upon is that, yes, we'll have the benefit of Jamestown Analytics, and that is massively important to allow us to kick on if we do feel we need new players in January or indeed next summer. But there's been some talk about how, you know, if we're in a really great position, that Tony Bloom will put more money into the club, invest further. And I think it's important I just emphasise that Tony's not actually in a position to do that. He said this himself when he spoke to the foundation members in August at the beginning of the season, just to do with UEFA rules. So I just want to make sure people do understand that. But I'm very confident that we will have a squad coming out of January that will allow us to give ourselves the best opportunity as we move through the rest of the season. So, you know, it's very, very exciting times, and really looking forward to that going forward.
Away from the pitch, I know you're not directly involved in the process, but can you give us any sort of update on how the process is going of appointing a new chair?
Yeah, so we have a board meeting next Monday where we should be formally approving who the new chair will be, as well as one other new board member, replacing the two board members, being the chair and Kevin has been mentioned, who will stand down at the AGM in December. I can't say who those people are at the moment for obvious reasons. I have met with the new chair, and I am really looking forward to working with that person when they come in. So we'll be making more announcements about that after the board meetings. and prior to the AGM, obviously. Yeah, really looking forward to that, and it'll be a change of board going forward.
Elections are also underway for new Foundation of Hearts board members, a great opportunity for fans to come in and help make a difference.
The foundation, I think, is so important. When I look at the club, I talk about the sort of three sides of things, and one's the club, and we'll obviously talk mainly about that. But then we also have Big Hearts as well, and I don't think we should ever forget about Big Heart. That's really important, and the community side of the club is hugely important, and the work we do through Big Hearts as our community partner is massive to this club, and will continue to be massive going forward. They just go from strength to strength as a charity, and I think it's really important that I mention them in this interview, because sometimes we maybe forget that that's such an important part of the club. Going back to the foundation is the third part of the triangle. They are obviously the owners of the club. More fundamentally to me, that is where the pledgers put money in. They continue to put money in at the same levels that they have for years. Again, I can only thank them so much for doing that and continuing to do that. It's a vital part of our income. I've talked previously about us trying to shift our business model over the next 2-3 years away from a benefactor reliant business model to a more of a player trading model, and we are continuing to do that. But one of the crucial things around that is we would still hope to have good contributions from the FOH members. They're really important to the running of the club. We can see what it's bringing to the team week in, week out, and I'm absolutely delighted with FOH going from strength to strength as well. You're right, going back to the fact there are elections. I think, if I'm right in saying, there are 3 posts up for election. 2 people have stood down from the FOH board and will not be restanding, and one of them is a specialist position on the finance side, and then one of the people who is coming up for re-election will be standing again. But again, I encourage people to get involved. With being on a board comes certain responsibility and time commitment. But if it's something you'd like to do, then it's important that we have a robust, a healthy democratic process where all the pledgers can vote on who they think will be best for the foundation moving forward. But yeah, thanks again to all the pledgers, and and anyone that's not pledged that wants to think about it in the future. I can assure you that we will use your money wisely going forward.
I know last time we spoke about how excellent the sales of our new Hummel kits were looking, but we've now got the retro range with the 05-06 tops being released recently to mark the 20-year anniversary of what was a really memorable season, of course, and no surprise that the fans are snapping those up as well. Yeah,
listen, thanks to Hummel coming in. It's always difficult when you move from one kit supplier to another, but I think it's fair to say Hummel have hit the ground running. The fans have absolutely bought in to what Hummel have brought to the table. We sold out of a number of things early on. The first team walk-on jacket, which I think everyone loves, which is now back in stock. And you're right, the retro kits, that was one of the things with going with Hummel that we knew, obviously having been with them previously, that there would be an opportunity to do some retro stuff which the fans would love and would buy into. And the home kit from 05-06 has gone down really well, and now we've just released the white away kit, which I personally think actually looks even better. So thanks again to the fans for buying the merchandise from the club. It's really important to us as well as part of our income. But I'm really pleased with the way the Hummel relationship has started, and I think it will go from strength to strength over the years. Back to the football, the women's team are again challenging at the top end of the SWPL. Recently defeated Hibs to lift the Capital Cup here at Tynecastle. Looks like it's going to be another really tight league again this season, and we're right in the mix. Yeah, it was good. I think to get that win at Tynecastle. It's been a little bit of a bogey ground for the team playing against Hibs here, so I know how delighted they were, and I was very pleased as well. I was actually, unfortunately, I wasn't here. I was in transit at the time, and I was in a plane mid-Atlantic, and I thankfully had my Wi-Fi on, and I got a buzz through that they'd won. So just delighted that they've done that. You're right. The SWPL League is incredible. There's 5 teams at the top. Now Glasgow City are slightly ahead of the others, but you look at the other 4, and they're all absolutely, tied in together. So yeah, I'm hoping we can have a good season. We had a good win in the Sky Sports Cup, which now takes us to another Edinburgh Derby coming up this coming weekend, and hopefully we can get through that, and we can at last have a decent run in the Sky Sports Cup and maybe get to the final and even bring some silverware back to Tynecastle would be great.
And just finally, Andrew, we've touched on it already, but a mouth-watering game against Celtic coming up this weekend here at Tynecastle. While nobody's getting carried away, just the fact that players, staff, fans, everyone's counting down the days until this next game, it just shows the excitement and the confidence levels really throughout the club, doesn't it?
I've never known, certainly in my time here, I've never had so many requests for tickets, for hospitality, for directors, just for everything, and that was before the weekend there, and we are absolutely rammed on Sunday. I suspect I'm going to have someone sitting on my knee in directors the way things are going at the moment. Luckily for them, I won't be sitting on their knee, but it's hard to put. I mean, to be in this position going into Sunday, I know Celtic will come here all guns blazing. They're not a club that what happened to them this weekend. They won't take it lightly. They've obviously got a European game coming on Thursday, but we should go into this, and we will go into this with huge confidence. I don't think there'll be any talk of free hits or anything like that. That's not the way I see it. I know it won't be the way Derek sees it or the guys, the players see it. They'll see it as a huge opportunity to really put a marker down, and I hope we can do it. I really hope. But we've got as good a chance as we've had in a long time to really show that we deserve to be where we are at the top of the league. And I'd love it if we could obviously continue there for a long time to come.
Andrew, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much.